कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफल हेतुर्भु संगोऽसत्त्व कर्मणि.
Meaning, Lord Krishna says, Karm Yog is a present form of devotion. Any task given to you should be performed with utmost orientation without worrying about the result of the duty. Hello, my lovely listeners. My name is Ghazal and I welcome you all today to my podcast. A very interesting chapter, Chapter 3, Karm Yog. We often talk in day-to-day language in a slangy manner. We talk about karma, what's your karma, what is a karma chakra, what is a karma theory, or why karma is a dash, right? But today we will get down to the deeper level and an enrooted level to understand karma as a theory, as a concept, and how we can apply it in our day-to-day life. We often say, we try to summarize this chapter by usually saying that karm kiye ja aur phal ki chinta mat kar. But is it that simple? Is it that easy? I don't think so, because the whole ideology has been explained in Gita chapter 3. But it's just that nobody is available to make it understand to us in layman's term. But today, with the help of Lord Krishna and Arjuna's question, we will try to draw a bridge from Dwapar to Kali Yuga and incorporate the same karma theory the way it has been instated in Gita itself. So let's begin with it. But before I go ahead further, if you're watching this episode as a very first time, I would request you to please watch the first chapter, which is Arjuna's dilemma, wherein Arjun is delusioned about his queries and he is hesitant to fight in the battle, which leads to a further understanding of transcendental knowledge explained by Lord Krishna, and then the karma. It would make your life easy to make it understand it better for you. Okay, so let's begin how this conversation leads to karma theory. So now, if you would have heard the previous one, you already know that the transcendental knowledge, which is called the Sankhya Yoga, wherein the understanding of soul has been made to understand to Arjun. And now, he asked Lord Krishna, "O Janardhan, you tell me that knowledge is superior to action. You want me still to engage into this battle as a terrible act. Why action is important when knowledge is everything?" In Transcendental Knowledge chapter, which is second chapter, Lord Krishna was explaining Arjun the consciousness, the soul, the spirit, and how the theory of reincarnation works. And now he is going to answer this innocent question of Arjun in a very, very smart way, which we can use in our day-to-day implicated life. He says, how that knowledge can be useful, which cannot be imparted and incorporated in day-to-day life. Therefore, action leads to execution. So if you want to understand Sankhya, you need to understand karma. Now, often people get confused between karya and karma. Karya is a day-to-day action which we do on a daily basis just for the fulfillment. But it becomes karma when the same work is executed without having any feelings or attachments attached to the fruits of those actions. And then he further explains Arjun by saying, Arjun, if you have understood the transcendental concept, the transcendental divine knowledge, and the moment you apply that knowledge to an execution and you detach yourself from the fruit, repercussion, consequences, cons of any action, that karma, that action becomes pure, sacred. That is why Karm Yoga is very important. In simple words, guys, any action which you undertake just with full dedication to complete that task and to accomplish it with fulfillment, if you have no fear, no judgments, no anticipation attached to it, it automatically gets surrendered to the divine. And now, when divine intervention takes place and the surrendered karma to divine has to be fruitful, but you don't have to think about it. God will take care of it. But you just have to do your task with full dedication. So here, the important term is to complete the task which is being assigned to you for a purpose and dedicate your 100% capabilities to it. And that's how Karm Yoga theory starts. About the previous question which Arjun had asked, Lord Krishna still continues to explain Arjun that how he can combine the transcendental knowledge along with Karm Yoga. He says, on day-to-day life, when you continue with your work and you are still attached to your work and you are expecting repercussions and results from it, automatically that work is not going to be dedicated to God. Therefore, any task which is being assigned to you should be done with a clean intention, because here what will make a difference is your intention. And how would you make your intention and conscience clear? When you understand transcendental knowledge. Therefore, when you combine the intelligence of transcendence to the execution of your action without expecting any results out of it, that work is considered as devoted work, as devotion, because it's an act of surrenderance to God. You are just doing your assigned task and you are not expecting any results out of it. I know, easier said than being done. It is so difficult to apply because if you think about your normal routine, any action, even lifting of a pen, that is such a minor task. Even if you do that, you have an intention to get something complete. The moment you attach a consequence to it, it automatically gets corrupted. That's how he answers Arjun's next question. And how can you achieve to be a great Karm Yogi? It could only be by surrenderance. It can only lead you to that path by practicing it all over again. He also highlights an act of meditation wherein if you keep practicing it, your conscience will be clean and so would be your intentions behind any action. Lord Krishna explains Karm Yoga in the form of devotion because Arjun has put up now a very big questions. He has asked Lord Krishna, so if karma is everything, is it a best way of devotion? Is it a best way to attain supreme? Now a very interesting answer Lord Krishna is going to give, which I would like to share with you all because we often confuse our day-to-day work with the work which is being assigned with a purpose. Listen to it what I said carefully. Lord Krishna says, the one who is a Karm Yogi is the closest to me. When he says me, he means supreme. And that's why karma is being divided in two parts: Nishkam Karma Yoga and Sakam Karma Yoga. Obviously, the next question Arjun is going to ask is, can you explain what is Nishkam Karma Yoga? And I'm sure you all have the question as well. Lord Krishna says, the karma which is being performed with an intention of sacrifice, that becomes Nishkam Karma Yoga. Now, sacrifice to whom? Because that person is gonna have an understanding that if I have been given this task to accomplish, there is a reason behind it. And instead of thinking about the repercussion of that action, if that person goes ahead and accomplish it with faith, he becomes a Nishkam Karma Yogi. And then he compares this act of karma sacrifice with yajna. He said, like when you feed gods your meal before you start eating your meal, or when you perform an austerity, you chant the names of the god and you dedicate all the samagri, the material form, to all the gods present up, your act becomes purified. Similarly, before undertaking any karma, if you remember God and you dedicate that task to God, the Supreme, to whatever faith you come from, that particular act become purified. And if something is purified, universe is gonna reciprocate to you the way it wants, because all what matters is the vibration attached to it. Contrarily, Sakam Karma Yoga is a karma which is being performed with an intention of retrieving benefit out of it. So now the intention has changed from dedication to the result. So obviously your focus is not going to be 100% on the karma. It's going to be on the result. So when your focus changes, your concentration changes, your mind changes, and so does your intention. So become a Nishkam Karma Yogi instead of becoming a Sakam Karma Yogi. Lord Krishna explains Arjun that being a Karma Yogi is a greater form of devotion. And if you think about yourself, including me, we all are a Karma Yogi. Because we are not sitting in Himalayas and performing a penance. We are just sitting in this material Maya world, which is a Maya created by Supreme Himself. But we all are born as a Karma Yogi. Therefore, at least I try, and I'm sure you can put an effort to the same as well. Try to take each action with the name of God and try to detach your emotions, your temptations, and your beneficiary thoughts away from it. And I assure you, with the grace of Lord Krishna, you will see the difference in your life. Arjun being Arjun, of course, because even I had the same question while I was reading Gita for the very first time. Karm Chakra, the most unique question. We often talk very loosely about it, but do we know what is Karma Chakra? Now that is going to be Arjun's next question. Arjun asked the question to Lord Krishna, if karma is given to each person by Supreme Himself because there is a purpose, who decides the purpose? Who decides which person would be picked for which karma? He states, like me, like Arjun, being picked for this battle and for this ethical speculation. Why was he the one who was chosen to receive this? Why not anyone else? Well, this is such a valid question. We often think, at least I think about it, why are we born in a family we are born in? Why my sibling is my sibling, not anyone else. Your spiritual boundaries, your spiritual inclinations, your relationships, your relatives, are they all connected? Are these spirits of soul aging and growing and bonding with karmas which is being performed? Well, Lord Krishna gives a very clear-cut answer to it. He says, karma is like an arrear account. So, whatever karma you have done in your previous birth, it all gets registered. And accordingly, the decision is being taken which person would be born in which category of people and how would he be assigned the karma. To make it further clear to you, this is like a carry forward account. So whatever you're doing in this present form, in physical form, your soul is gonna take a similar action accordingly in your next birth. And who decides that? He says there are three major attributes how the karmas being distinguished, not just the karmas actually, all the gunas of a being gets categorized accordingly. He says the attributes are as follows: sattva, the truthful consciousness; rajas, the ignorance consciousness; and tamas, as a dark consciousness. So let's say in this particular birth, if you are doing all sattva karma, in the next birth there are two possibilities. Either you will get dissolved in the Supreme Himself, or you would be entitled for another purpose in the next birth. Rajas is the most dangerous one because it fills you up with arrogance, with ignorance, and you have a pride in you. And that's why the combination of Rajas and Tamas is more in Kali Yuga, because people are full of themselves. That's why it is very important to watch your karma. Even the smallest of the deed is gonna get registered, and you need to understand the importance of it, because the only thing which you carry away from this world, away from your physical form, when either you being burnt up, criminated, or whatsoever, the spiritual inclination and your karma account is gonna be carried forward with you, with your soul. Lord Krishna says to Arjun, the reason you being picked to attain this great Param Gyan is because even Supreme, and then he highlights himself, because even I understand that your intentions, your focus is very clean, and you have a potential and capability to understand and attain this knowledge, and hereby I am kind of imparting this knowledge with you because you have the potential and no one else. Then Lord Krishna goes further and talks about an attribute of consciousness which is being defined by tamas. Listen to this very carefully and think about the people you know. He says the most dangerous form of consciousness is tamas, the darkness, because they have not even a single ray of spirituality. They live like a thief because they don't dedicate anything to Almighty, because they think they are so self-consumed that they are the ones who are governing their life. When you look around these people, there are certain habits which you will find in them, like excess of sleeping, excessive eating, lust, having no control over the sensory pleasures, and hurting other people's emotion. He says to Arjun, if you find such qualities in any being, stay away from that person. Because the darkness in these kind of people are so profound that they have or they might have a capability to even manipulate your intentions. That's why we say in the modern world, choose your friends wisely. Be very careful with the kind of people you're hanging around with, because eventually either you will feed onto their energy or they will feed onto your soul to get some light. So be very mindful. You often see people talking about their love for food, love for sleep, love for laziness, or you often hear them saying that I don't feel like doing it today. These people lack conviction. These people lack that powerful pull which can actually help them to grow and grow further with their consciousness in life. So Arjun, I request you to not get influenced by such people, because they will deviate you from your defined goal, and you do not deserve to be deviated, because you are meant to serve a purpose. That's why you will be remembered in the history for attaining this Param Gyan. These people are also capable of diminishing your capabilities because they would empower their darkness on you. Therefore, Arjun, I hereby tell you that karma and karma chakra is the most important thing in people's life. Never hurt anyone emotionally, because when they are in pain, their pain creates energy and you get impacted, if not in this birth, then in the next one. And right now, your karma is to pick up that Gandiv, stand tall in the battle and fight this battle, because that is what is in your control right now. So control your mind, control your heart and fight this battle. And for this, I am taking a pause here from chapter 3. I hope you understood the basic bottom line of this chapter of Karm Yoga. I tried my best with the help of Lord Krishna to define each perspectives to you. And I'm going to see you soon in the next one, wherein I'm going to talk about Gyan, Karma and Sannyas Yoga and the alignment of it together. Till then, keep sharing my podcast, and I hope you find it helpful and you find it relatable. You can also check out I am on season 4 actually on my podcasting platform over all the podcasting channels like Spotify, Amazon Music UK, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and you can find me everywhere. Please do follow me and check it out. I'm sure if you're liking this, you will like that as well. Lots of love from me. Go Ghazal gone. See you soon. Hare Krishna.